Friends, today I have an anime series to share with you called The Grimm Variations. It consists of 6 episodes and has a dark horror retelling. In today's video, we will recap the first episode to gauge your interest in these stories. If the response is good, I will continue with the rest of the series. The first episode is titled Cinderella. Before the episode begins, we are introduced to the Grimm brothers, Jacob and Wilhelm, along with their younger sister Charlotte. Charlotte is fascinated by fairy tales and starts reading them, beginning with Cinderella. Now, you may wonder who the Grimm brothers are. They were real-life individuals who collected and published many folk tales in the early 1800s. Let's dive into the story of Cinderella. It starts with a viscount named Odawada, who is a widower and wishes to remarry a lady named Tsuruko. Tsuruko already has 2 daughters named Sawako and Maki, while Odawada has a daughter named Kiyoko. Tsuruko asks Odawada if Kiyoko will have any issues with this marriage. Odawada assures her that Kiyoko is excited about it and there won't be any trouble. On the day Tsuruko and her daughters go to Odawada's mansion, they are amazed by its grandeur. Kiyoko is also thrilled as she is gaining a new mother and 2 sisters. Kiyoko introduces herself to all 3 of them here, and she also introduces her favorite doll. Well, after Sawako and Maki are talking about how beautiful Kiyoko's hairpin is and how their lives will change in this new place, we can see that Kiyoko was quietly listening to them from outside. Later in the story, we find out that Sawako and Maki didn't know basic manners, unlike Kiyoko, who was brought up in a rich family. Kiyoko was very kind to her new sisters. One night, Kiyoko was talking to her doll, and the doll was also moving, which was really creepy. Anyway, next we learn that Kiyoko gives Maki a hairpin, but Maki loses it. When Maki finds the hairpin, she thinks a servant stole it and starts beating the servant. Of course, all the servants in the house start talking about how bad the sisters are for behaving that way. Otherwise, Kiyoko is always nice. The servants start gossiping that these 3 people from outside are bad and poorly raised. Maki and Sawako hear these gossips and start wondering if Kiyoko is tricking them. They even realize that Kiyoko is secretly listening to their conversations. In that situation, both sisters get angry at Kiyoko and Kiyoko wants to leave. While running, Kiyoko falls down the stairs and the blame falls on the sisters. The situation gets worse when Kiyoko pretends to take care of her sisters in front of the viscount, but she lies and says they accidentally touched her hand, causing her to fall. In reality, the sisters weren't even close to Kiyoko when she fell. Now, at this point, we viewers also understand that Kiyoko is a mean and evil person. She is plotting to make these mothers and daughters, who came from outside, look bad. These sisters try to explain to the Viscount that they haven't done anything wrong, but he refuses to listen. He believes that both of them pushed Kiyoko down the stairs. Things get even stranger when Kiyoko gives all her jewelry and dresses to the sisters and starts wearing a maid's dress herself. This makes everyone in the house think that Kiyoko is nice, while they see the 2 sisters as cruel and mean. In this situation, the sisters tell their mother everything, but surprisingly, their mother also thinks Kiyoko is a good and kind-hearted girl. It gets to a point where the Viscount plans to send the sisters to another country to study because it's difficult for them to live together at home. However, one day, the Viscount dies in a car accident. Everyone is sad, but Kiyoko looks very happy, wearing a colorful dress. Seeing this, the sisters realize that Kiyoko is crazy and they decide to run away from the palace. But Kiyoko stops them by reminding them that their mother needs someone to take care of her. Now, the story jumps forward 5 years and Kiyoko has completely transformed herself. She calls the sisters my lady and acts like a servant. The other servants feel sorry for Kiyoko, while everyone sees the sisters as evil. As for Tsuruko, she has always been sick and only Kiyoko takes care of her. In fact, Kiyoko is so wicked that she doesn't even allow the mother and daughters to meet in the same house by telling lies. We can see that for Kiyoko, everything is just a game that she enjoys playing. She plays in this house and finds great pleasure in it. In fact, she even talks to her doll, who responds back. However, one day, her family receives an invitation from a count for a party. Now, Kiyoko claims that she even cannot attend this party and that only Meiko and Sawako have the privilege to go. Kiyoko helps both sisters in making their gowns and informs them that during the party, the Count's son will choose a bride for himself. The sisters believe that if they can impress the Count's son, they might be able to escape from this house and get rid of Kiyoko. Finally, the day of the party arrives and the two sisters attend. Upon reaching the party, they meet the Count's son, Masada, and try their best to impress him. However, their efforts start to fade away when Sawako begins drinking excessively, making those around her uncomfortable. Suddenly, Kiyoko appears at the ball, dressed beautifully and wearing a purple hairpin. This angers the sisters, and Kiyoko, pretending, kneels down in front of them and starts apologizing. She explains that she attended the party because she didn't have any other dress, and this was her mother's only dress. The sisters realize that it was all Kiyoko's plan, and in Sawako's intoxicated state, she even raises her hand towards Kiyoko. However, Masada intervenes and stops her. At this point, everyone at the party starts to view the sisters in a negative light. Masada also shares the same opinion and throws the sisters out of the party. He then dances with Kiyoko, and everyone praises them as a couple. In this moment, we are transported back in time through a flashback. It reveals the scandalous actions of Kiyoko, but what exactly has she done? Well, it all started with the hairpin. Kiyoko purposely kept it near the servant so that her sisters could falsely accuse the servant of wrongdoing. But Kiyoko didn't stop there. She went as far as intentionally falling down the stairs, tarnishing the reputation of both her sisters. And when Kiyoko's father took her sisters away to study, she seized to loosen the tires of her own father's car, causing a fatal accident. It's clear that Kiyoko's actions were driven by a sinister force. Even her dolls seemed to encourage her misdeeds. But the scandal didn't end there. Just before attending this party, Kiyoko revealed her true nature. She confessed to Tsuruko that she enjoys playing with people, treating them like dolls. And when she grows bored, she eliminates them. In fact, she had been secretly poisoning Tsuruko for years, keeping her sick. And before heading to the party, she administered a fatal dose of poison. Now, in present time, after the dance, Kiyoko left, explaining to Masada that she could never be with him because of her sisters. As she departed, her hairpin fell, which Masada picked up. Other scene, the sisters back and received devastating news. Their mother had passed away, and they immediately blamed Kiyoko. But no one would listen to them. Everyone seemed to be against them, while Kiyoko continued to play innocent. But Kiyoko's wickedness didn't stop there. She began brewing poison tea, intending to slowly make her sisters sick, just like their late mother. However, just as she was about to carry out her plan, Masada arrived at the palace. He confronted the sisters, accusing them of mistreating Kiyoko. They tried to explain that Kiyoko was the true evil one, but Masada refused to listen. In the midst of this tense situation, the sisters pushed Kiyoko, and Masada witnessed it all. He angrily claims that the entire house belongs to Kiyoko because she is the Viscount's real blood relative and his real daughter. Upon saying this, Masada kicks the two sisters out of the house. Now, both sisters are definitely upset, but somewhere deep down, they are also happy because they are finally free from Kiyoko's psychopathic control. Yes, they are finally liberated from Kiyoko's grasp. On the other hand, Kiyoko is seen talking to her dolls, suggesting that maybe the two sisters intentionally did that to get thrown out by Masada because they wanted to be free. Now, the Viscount's son, Masada, falls in love with Kiyoko and they get married. Despite everything, Kiyoko is content because she has been entertained by the two sisters for many years. However, the doll tells her that there is no special entertainment anymore and suggests starting a new game with Kiyoko's husband, Masada. It is evident that Kiyoko will now begin her wicked game with him or his family, or maybe even both. And that's where the eerie Cinderella story comes to an end. Friends, you can see how a classic fairy tale has been twisted into something horror. So, my friends, this was the first episode of the Grimm Variations, and as I promised, if there is a positive or decent response to this video, I will bring a big video showcasing the remaining 5 episodes. This anime is not a typical horror, but rather a retelling of classics in a horrifying manner. In fact, each story holds a deeper meaning. So, if you enjoyed the video, please like and share it. Also, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe.